Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, I am inside. I am currently in Phoenix, Arizona, and I believe it is like 111 degrees outside. So I am so grateful. My in laws let me use one of their rooms to record some classes. So we can still practice together this week, a little bit different of an environment and background. So for today's practice, we are going to be focusing a lot on the neck and shoulders, but also the hips. For today's practice, we're going to be recognizing how they are connected so deeply. So a lot of things that we don't really think about when we have tight neck and shoulders is something like our pelvic tilt. So when I'm talking about a pelvic tilt, which I'm going to mention it 3 million times today, we are recognizing the way in which our pelvis either tilts forward or rolls back. So for some of us, when we're seated, a lot of times what will happen is the pelvis tucks in. Sometimes you may notice, even when you stand, I'm not sure if you could see me all the way standing, but you can see my pelvis and that what matters. We're always focused on trying to create a neutral pelvic tilt. So to me, it was explained if the the pelvis is a large, wide bowl of water. And if we tilt a little forward, it's going to spill forward. If we tilt a little back, the bowl would spill back. So if you think of a very full bowl of water, it's a very easy way to tell the micro movements in which it's tilting. Within that knowledge of knowing which way our pelvic tilts naturally, or the way that it either tucks or spills forward, whether we are sitting, standing, walking, going upstairs, it's important to notice your pelvic tilts, even something like when you are lying down. That is the easiest way to identify your neutral pelvic tilt. Is sometimes when we're standing, it's kind of hard to bring in that body awareness and be like, well, is it tilting forward or backward, especially without using a mirror? So we will get started lying on our back, but for today's practice, we will be utilizing 2 blocks and a strap. The strap today is very important. Again, if you don't have a strap, if you do not have blocks, for the use of the blocks, we're going to want something supportive. So that could be a cushion, that could be a dense pillow, it could be a tri-folded towel, maybe a couple of those. There's a lot of ways to get creative. I've even taken a book itself and rolled that in a towel, so that way it does have some density a little bit more, but then some cushion in with it. For a strap, we're going to be utilizing it hooking over the knees, around the knee, over the foot, movement like that. So when we take our strap, we're going to be utilizing it for bringing it around. So we want something long. So if you do not have a strap, we're looking for something like a belt, a scarf, maybe a long thin towel. Frankly, I've used a dog leash before. You could use a table runner. Get creative. A pair of yoga pants. I'm serious. I've done it. It'll work. Trust me. So we can use everyday items. These do not have to specifically be a yoga strap or yoga blocks. They can be any of those things. I'm so glad you're here. So when you're ready, get started lying on the back with me. I'm going to read you a little bit once you're lying flat on the back. We'll come into some meditation. I'm going to bring us into some body awareness, and then I'm going to read us a little bit from The Power of Now and a few little tidbits that'll help us in today's practice. But when you're ready, take your time getting on the back. If you can see, this is my lovely companion Chai. You might not be able to see her face, but she's hanging out with us today. As you're lying on your back, keep your legs long. Draw the shoulder blades down the spine. Just start to rock the head from side to side. Hands on the belly. Maybe sigh it out. If you feel a lot of tension, if it's difficult to get comfortable here on the back, that's okay. We're not always here to get comfortable at first. We're here to take inventory of the body and find ourselves at first. Take the feet and flop them from side to side. They don't have to be perfect windshield wipers. They could flop out to the side, then in together. Just get some movement in the feet. Letting that movement guide its way up towards the hips. We keep the hands on the belly because I want you to rest the eyes and breathe. In and out through the nose. If we have a lot of tension in the body, we're having a hard time, a lot of things on the mind, I recommend taking the exhales out the mouth with pursed lips, like you're blowing out a candle. It's a great way to relieve stress mentally, physically. Sometimes there's a combination of both. Letting the body get a little heavier on every exhale. Just start to ask the breath to take a little bit longer. You can continue slowly rocking the head from side to side, maybe just taking one ear to the mat and the other. I want you to just check in with yourself. There's no certain way you have to be. This is yoga. A lot of times we associate yoga with the poses or with something that we feel is really doing something, a stretch. But being present, being with your breath, being in your body, that is our practice. As the feet come rest back to center, bring the head back to center, shoulders plant, head rests heavy. As I want you to notice the tilt of your pelvis. Noticing if any vertebrae of the spine is lifting up away from the mat. Just notice here. Don't try to change it. You don't have to try to force the back down or rearrange. Just acknowledge. As I feel my body here, I feel that some of my lumbar is lifted off of the mat. This is because my pelvis is pouring forward, tilting forward, thus slightly, just little micro lifts in my lumbar spine. As we notice the tilt of the pelvis here, I want you to stay hyper-focused on the pelvis. Stay with the breath and drag the feet up close to the glutes. Bring those feet as close to the glutes as you can get them. Inch them up even closer when you do. And now notice the pelvis. See what has changed. Bring the hands back to the belly. Come back to those big breaths. If you have tension to let go of, we all do. Blow it out, pursed lips. Softening the brow, soften the face. Make sure the shoulders are heavy. As we close the eyes here, we're going to start in a resting pose. Now, it is your choice whether you would like to keep the feet planted or send the legs long. I want you to find what is most comfortable in your body. As we keep the eyes rested shut, hands onto the belly, feeling your connection with yourself. Breathing in and out through the nose, notice the rise and the fall of the belly. How much we can expand on the inhale. Try to find the bottom of your breath on every exhale. Let out all of that air. On every exhale, begin to release the thoughts plaguing the mind. That internal chatter that whispers what you have to do later, what you didn't get done earlier. Maybe things we're just having a hard time letting go of. As you then take the inhales, bring in all the thoughts of abundance, of joy, of happiness, of love, everything that is so fortunate in your life. Again, exhaling out your worries, your stressors, anything that takes you away from this loving moment. Stay with these breaths. As I read us an excerpt from The Power of Now. Direct your attention into the body. Feel it from within. Is it alive? Is there life in your hands, arms, legs, and feet, in your abdomen and chest? Can you feel the subtle energy field that pervades the entire body and gives vibrant life to every organ and every cell? Can you feel it simultaneously in all parts of the body as one single field of energy? Focus on this feeling of your inner body for a few moments. Do not start to think about it. Just feel it. The more intention you give it, the clearer and stronger this feeling will become. It will feel as if every cell is becoming more alive. And if you have a strong visual sense, you may imagine your body becoming luminous. Although such an image can help you temporarily, pay more attention to the feeling than that to any image that may arise. An image, no matter how beautiful or powerful, is already defined in form, so there is less scope for penetrating more deeply. Find 3 more breaths just as you are. Beginning by being grateful for this body. No matter what it can or cannot do, no matter its status. Be grateful for every cell working hard to keep you well, every organ, every system of the entire body. Dragging the heels back close to the glutes, bring them as close as you can get them to the glutes. And then take your time to heel toe the feet out wide to the very edges of the mat. Lift all of the toes here, flex into both feet, and windshield wiper the knees. Allow the knees to fall from one side to the other, but move slowly. Try to notice and become aware of every degree in which our range of motion can access. You can keep the hands on the belly or option for cactus arms, beginning to open the heart where the palms face up and the elbows are bent, elbows in line with the shoulders. Closing the eyes can make this more of a somatic practice, being aware of the body, feeling yourself from the inside out. A lot of times when we think about what shapes we're making in the body, we think about how we look. But our yoga practice is not one for the eyes. It is not about the way we look. It is all about the way we feel. Two more breaths here. Being mindful to not label the body good or bad. No movement is better or worse. Bring the feet back into neutral, knees back in line and center. As we ground down those feet in line with the glutes, lightly lift the hips, tuck the tailbone, lay each vertebrae down one at a time, creating that little bit of length, hopefully a slightly flatter spine. If it's in your practice, reach for opposite elbows up overhead. So continue lying, but reaching for the elbows up overhead. Now, if this is too much, you could reach for hands above the head, or you could simply reach the arms above the head. If that's a lot for the shoulders, keep the arms cactus. Opening the heart, I want you to inhale, press the ribs up to the sky. So this is like a lying cat and cow. Inhaling, lifting the ribs, but trying to keep the body planted. Exhale, press the spine into the mat, press the belly into the spine. See if you could tuck the tailbone just like in cat. Stay with it. Keep the arms grounded. Inhale, cow. We're just energetically lifting the ribs. Exhale, cat. Press the spine down. So we're trying to keep the shoulders and hips where they are. Inhale, cow. Press the ribs to the sky. Exhale. Squeeze the belly. Press it down into the mat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. As we find a neutral spine, reach both hands up above the head if it's in your practice. Then finding Frankenstein arms, reaching the fingertips up to the sky. Reach, reach, reach. Round in the upper back. Pull the shoulder blades apart. Inhale here. And then the exhale, press the shoulders down into the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Guide those shoulders back into their sockets. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, keep the spine neutral, flat on the mat. Finding your breath. Staying grounded in the left foot, lifting the right foot off of the mat. Continue pressing down into the shoulders, press down into the spine. As we kick the right leg up to the sky, roll out that right ankle. As we then wiggle through the fingers, roll out the wrist, roll out the ankle, wiggle the toe. Tripod movement here. Stay grounded in that left foot. As everything comes back into center, spreading the fingers wide, fingers still reaching up, but then grounding down in those shoulders. As we bend into the right knee, plant the right foot down. Noticing what engaged to get us there, to keep us steady, to keep us sturdy, grounding down in the right leg, lifting the left foot off of the mat. Now you can keep the knee bent if that feels good. If the leg straight is too much, stay with it. If it's in your practice, straighten the left leg, kick that left foot up to the ceiling, wiggle the toes, roll out the ankle, wiggle the fingers, and roll out the wrists all together. All these parts of our body deserve this attention, deserve this love. We do so much with our hands, we do so much with our feet, our toes, our ankles. And then we return everything back into center, fingertips reaching up. And slowly lower the left foot down. As we reach the arms up overhead, palms face up, reach for opposite elbows above the head, opposite elbow on top this time, opposite hand on top. You know what I mean. You switch it. Make it different than it was before. Heel toe the feet out wide to the edges of the mat. Flex both feet. Lift all those toes. Windshield wiper the knees. Again, letting them fall from one side to the other. Move slowly. Move gently. As the knees come back into center, feet in line with the hips. We're going to release the hands, reach them up overhead. Inhale like a good morning stretch. Point the toes, reach above you. Maybe wiggle from side to side. And slowly roll on to your left side in a supported fetal position. Resting the head on the arm or on a block or pillow. Just feel yourself here. Taking a moment to notice the resonance within the body. The life that lives within every cell of our being. Really respecting and appreciating the teamwork it is that our body does to keep us well. Using the strength of your arms, press yourself up into a comfortable seat, a Sukhasana. An easy seat is what they call it. Now I take a block under my sit bones, and this is particularly relevant for today's practice. So I want you to find your easy seat, but I'm going to show you something. When I sit in an easy seat, I use quotations there, I struggle with this. I find it very, very uncomfortable. When my legs are crossed, my hips are a little tight. They do their best, but they are tight. My pelvis tilts now. So now my pelvis is rotating so far back and so far underneath me, I feel like I'm forever trying to pull myself forward, and I could not be more uncomfortable. I find it near impossible to keep my shoulders stacked with my hips. My whole body wants to lean back. My knees want to come up. It is not good. So, it is not good for me. It does not feel good in my body. It does not matter that this is the shape or not the shape that should be made in Sukhasana. But I want to show you what changes. I take a block. Now, this could be a rolled up blanket. It could be anything. But I take that under my sit bones. So I take it right under my glutes. And then as you see here, okay, now I have a little bit more height. But then I scoot a little forward. So by doing this, I make room for my belly because it deserves it. And I ground down in my legs. Now the hips are able to come a little bit wider. The knees are able to come a little bit wider. And now much more effortlessly, I can stack my shoulders with my hips because this is allowing me to tilt my pelvis forward. So I will cue this oftentimes when we come into our Sukhasana. I will say, rotate your pelvis forward, shine your belly forward, draw the shoulder blades down and back. And that's because I want us to find comfort and stability, centering in this. Because if we are here, if we're rounded, if we feel like we're falling backward, we're not getting the benefit out of it. We'd be better off taking a different variation of a seat that is more comfortable. So as we come into this easy seat, our Sukhasana, I want you to find the support that you deserve, that your body deserves. Grounding down into the legs, making room for your belly if you need, if you want. It deserves it. Every part of your body deserves space. Grounding down into the legs, shining the belly forward, drawing the shoulders back, let them pull down. At this point, I want you to tuck your chin, lengthen up from behind the ears. Close the eyes and just breathe. Your palms can face down onto the knees to ground down and feel the warmth and energy of your own body. They can flip up to receive the energy around you, receive the energy from this practice. The energy I am sending. We can find the hands stacked. You could bring the hands to prayer. Find the hands in the mudra that works for you. Close the eyes and come back to the breath. In and out through the nose. We start to even out each breath. Making every inhale just as long as the exhale. Rhythmic. Coming into your Ujjayi Pranayama, if it is in your practice, where the inhales and the exhales are the same length and we find a slight constriction in the back of the throat. Much like when we go outside and we check to see if it's, when it's cold out, and we check to see if we can view our breath, we go, that same style of restriction, but in and out through the nose, create the heat in the body. This breath is very powerful. This breath is very beneficial. This breath can help you from getting dehydrated, assist you if you are struggling. It will calm you if you are stressed. This intentional breath lets the body and nervous system know that we are okay. So you stay with this breath, flip the left palm down if it isn't already, take the right fingertips to the mat beside you. As we press down into the left hand, leaning the body to the right, bringing the weight onto the right hand just enough, Because we want to press that away, we're just going to rock back and forth. We may barely move. This may be very intense. I know it is for me. Just rocking gently forward and backward. In the bottom of that next breath, switch sides, planting the left hand behind us, pressing the right knee away, breathing and rocking back and forth. Again, close the eyes, feel things from within. This doesn't matter about how we look. This is all about how we feel. The bottom of that next breath, returning back to center. Reach the hands out to the side, shine the palms forward. Begin to pull the hands back, reach them back like you were trying to touch the back of the hands towards one another. It doesn't matter how far we reach. Inhale, lift the chin, reach the hands back and down. On the exhale, give yourself a hug, wrap the hands around the shoulders. Get a good grip here, inching the fingertips closer towards each other. Filling the lungs, and then if it feels good for you, rock from side to side. Maybe acting like you're going to dip down the elbows to one knee and then the other. It doesn't even have to be that far. Just notice what you feel as you lean around side to side, maybe forward. As we return everything back into center, one more inhale into this hug. Lift the heart and the gaze up to the sky. And the exhale, release the arms. Whew, shake them out. Now we're going to stay in this easy seat. We're going to switch the legs, only for a moment. Don't worry, I won't make you do this for long. I don't love it either. It's always awkward. I feel like I'm doing this pose wrong when I switch the legs. That's okay. That's the only thing, is when things feel awkward, it means we just haven't done them enough, right? It's okay. We got this. As we reach the hands down and back, shining the palms forward, try to spread the fingers a little wider this time. Opening the heart up, press the hands back like you're going to touch the top of the hands together. One big inhale, lift the heart, lift the chin. And the exhale, give yourself a hug, opposite elbow on top this time. Reaching for opposite shoulders. Now really squeeze. I would squeeze harder, but I think it would ruin the microphone situation. So this is where we're at. Inch the fingers closer to each other. Get a good hug and then start to rock from side to side. Imagine that you're splaying the rib cage open. Maybe even leaning forward like you're going to touch the elbow to the knee. Breathe, opening up the back of that heart, the space between the shoulder blades. On the bottom of the next breath, return to center. Keep the hug. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, release it, shake it out. You may have a buildup of heat and energy that collected. Roll out the shoulders. Exaggerate these rolls. Press the shoulders forward together like you're trying to touch them. Pull them up towards the ears and then guide them back and around. Come back to center. 2 cleansing breaths. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Fill the body with breath. Exhale, sigh it out. Dump the body, drop it all. One more. Inhale, bring it up. Maybe T-Rex arms, wrists to the shoulders. Lift the elbows. One more sip of breath in. Sigh it out. Find circles with the neck. Bring the head around in every direction. Wiggle out the jaw as you need. Spend some extra time in one particular area if the body craves it. Just like we did in the beginning of practice, if you have a lot of stuff, if you have a lot of feelings, even just a lot of thoughts that arise during a pose, purse the lips and blow out the mouth. Exhaling like you're blowing out those birthday candles. You know, the body naturally does that when we're real stressed or we just lifted something heavy. We go, you know, we usually do a little bit faster to make it more societally acceptable, but here that does not matter, so take your time. It's a natural calming technique. Our nervous system knows. That's why our body does it. Two more breaths into this neck, however you want to move. You always feel free to be still if you prefer. The head guides back to center. Send both legs long and wide. Taking the legs out as wide as you can. Now again, this is the perfect example of why I need support under my glutes. So if I remove this support, my pelvis wants to roll back, my spine wants to round. I feel like I gotta hold on for dear life and pull myself forward. If your hamstrings are tight, then you're probably here pulling, and it's so uncomfortable. So where do we start? We first start with support under the glutes. Again, just at the edge of the glutes. Or roll up that towel and sit on it. So what this does is it starts pushing my pelvis forward. Now, if the hamstrings are still tight, you're going to go, oh, this is spicy. That almost made it worse. But then we take blocks, blankets, towels rolled up underneath the knees. Pillows work great too. And allow that to soften. So if you have that stability, it's okay if it's still tight, but now this is suddenly a little bit more accessible. Now we're at a place where the body feels safe enough to finally release, and that's our goal. We want to make our body feel safe enough to finally relax, right? See if we can inch those legs out a little wider, move the flesh from the sit bones if you need, ground down in the glutes. Pressing the belly forward, draw the shoulders down and back. Tuck the elbows in close to the body. Flip the palms up. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. So we begin to find circles with the upper body. So we're going to keep the shoulders square and start to find circles. Inhaling as we lean forward. Exhaling as we guide back. Now we may want the fingertips for stability. If moving around without support feels scary, use the fingertips. Have the hands walk you all the way around. We want to avoid rolling the shoulders forward, and we're not trying to move the shoulders, we're trying to move from the pelvis. So imagine you're keeping your spine totally straight like you're stirring a pot, right? So we are the ladle. That is perfectly straight in the spine. We're guiding it around. Pair this with the breath. Inhale forward. Exhale back and around. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back and around, leading with the heart. Take these circles a little bit more exaggerated if you choose. See if the heart wants to guide a little more further forward or backward. One more rotation all the way around. And then switch directions. This time, inhaling as we guide back and around. And exhaling as we bring it forward and around. Staying grounded, staying centered, staying aware of your body from within. Again, this is not about how we look. Yoga is not for the eyes. Tuning in. One more full breath. Bringing the body back into center. Bend into the right knee. Bringing the right foot into the inside of the left thigh. Now when we get here, if this knee is way up here and this feels very tight and scary, bring support under the right knee. What'll happen is if the hip is very tight, it'll put a lot of pressure on the knee to try to conform and take the extra that the hip does not have. So by bringing in support, the knee is not being asked so much of it. We can ground down, notice what feels good. Gluing the legs to the mat, drawing the shoulder blades back and together. Bloom the heart open. As we ground down in the legs or tips of the fingers to the mat, find circles. Inhaling forward and around. Exhaling back and around. Close the eyes. Feel it. Don't analyze it. Don't judge it. Just breathe. On the bottom of that next breath, switch directions and switch the breath. Inhaling as you lean back and around. Exhale as you lean forward and around. Final breath. Everything you've got all the way. Coming back into center. Tuck the elbows in. Flip the palms up. Open the heart. Take 2 breaths. Allowing that energetic body to catch back up with us. Getting a hold of our strap or whatever we're using as our strap is we're going to hook this strap over the left leg, over the left foot. Bring it under that foot, bring it directly under the ball mount of that foot. Lightly flex that foot if you can. Start to pull the toes towards the shin. From here, if you want a little bit more, pull on the strap. But try not to lift the heel too far up. We're not trying to hyperextend the leg. So get nice and tall. Strap is in hand, but nice and tall first. Then we turn the shoulders to the left in line with the toes. Keeping the strap, inhale, lift the gaze, lift the chin up to the sky. On the exhale, inch the hands and the strap down closer. We're going to fold over this left leg, but use the strap to grab the foot. Continuing to turn the shoulders to the left, guiding the chin to the shin first, or the chin up to the toes. We're not trying to round and collapse first. We want to keep a lot of length, and then we want to keep a lot of length. And then once we have found this edge, then we can surrender more. I want us to avoid pulling forward, leading here, trying to get the head down to the knee. You notice the difference here? Look at this. This is when I lead with my top of my head down. This is when I'm trying to surrender down. This is when I'm trying to surrender forward. Totally different. Stay grounded in the right leg. That's the challenge here. Breathe. Pressing that right knee down. This is not meant to be easy. You got it. If this is just a lot, rock back and forth or rock from side to side. Coddle yourself the way you'd coddle a loved one or a child. We need it too. We deserve it too. One more breath. Inhale to the top. Exhale, final surrender. Give it all you got. As we slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, bring the strap with us. Keep it within reach. Head comes up last. Stack the shoulders now with the hips. So untwist. Keep things centered. Notice if we rearrange the body to go to the left, come back to neutral. In your own time, we switch the legs. Sending the right leg long, bending into the left knee. Anchoring down, bringing any support under either of the legs. So if this right hamstring is tight, block pillow, towel, blanket under that knee. If this left knee is floating, or if you feel a lot of pressure on that left knee, bring in the block. So for me, my left hip is tighter. Thus, I need support on the left side. I deserve support on the left side. As we keep the body long and tall. Again, we're pivoting from the hips, so move the spine. Keep it fully stacked. Keep the heart open. Find our circles. Inhale forward and around. Exhaling back and around. Close the eyes. This has very little to do with the size of circles we're making or how we look in the pose. I'll say it a million times. This is all to do with how much we can breathe, how positively we can keep our intention, how grateful we can be for the body, regardless of what it can do for us. Switching directions when you're ready. Inhaling as you lean back and around. Exhaling as you lean forward and around. As you stay with these movements and your breath, I want you to think about how often do you withhold gratitude from the body because you don't think the body's earned it? Find it, change it, breathe into it. Our body does not need to earn our gratitude. Being alive has earned plenty of gratitude and even beyond. One more full breath all the way around. So we come back into center. Shoulders draw down and back, elbows tuck in, palms flip up. 2 slow breaths. Digest the movements. As we take our strap in hand, hooking it over the right foot, finding that place where we get tall, tall, tall in center, reaching out of the crown of the head, and then turning the shoulders to the right, keeping a hold of that strap. Straps directly below the ball mount of the foot. Try flexing those toes towards the shin if you want a challenge. As we inhale, lift the heart, lift the chin all the way up. Exhale, keep the length and slowly surrender. So almost think about how like long jump. They jump and they try to go as far, far, far as they can, not just down. So as your chin reaches towards your toes and then down to your shin, try to keep an open heart. Only if and when it feels good, then you can round the spine and start to rest the third eye down. Pressing that left knee, that left glute down to the mat. If this is a lot, rock back and forth, side to side. Breathe. One more breath here. Inhale all the way to the top. And exhale, one more surrender. Slowly release the strap. Gently roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Neck is long, spine is long, crown is reaching tall. And when you're ready, roll it forward into a tabletop. Hands below shoulders, knees under hips, spread the fingers wide. Tuck the toes under, let the head hang heavy, shift the hips from side to side. As far to each side as feels good. And then we're going to find rotations here, guiding the body forward and backward. Inhaling as you lead forward and around. Exhale as you guide back and around. Shifting the torso around in circles paired with the breath. Keep the fingers spread wide. The hands deserve it. Keep the toes tucked under if it's in your practice. Stretch out the feet. Try closing the eyes. Feel it from within. Switch directions, switch the breath. Inhaling as you guide back and around. Exhale as you lean forward and around. Doesn't always have to be extreme poses to get a lot of benefit. Come back in to center. As we stay here in center, we're going to guide the right foot behind the right wrist if it's in our practice. So bring that up towards the wrist. If it feels good from here, we have options. We could stay here. We could always have blocks under the hands. Now, if that's just too far, bring the blocks under the hands. Here we are. If it feels good, inch the right foot forward. Walk those hands forward as we begin to open this left hip flexor, untuck the left toes. Now, if that's just a lot, stay where you were, where the foot is back, and then we could still just lunge it forward. You're perfect either way. Finding the space that suits you the best. For me, I think I'm going to take the blocks on the lower setting, hands below shoulders, fingers spread wide if you're here. Breathe. This is known as a dragon pose, a runner's lunge. Lots of different names for it. The name is not important. The breath is important. And as it feels good here, stay with it or slight rocks forward and backward, getting into this left hip flexor. Take the head up tall, neck is long, breath is deep. In the bottom of the exhale, we're going to inhale to slowly take the gaze to the right. Inhale, look over the right shoulder. Exhale, guide the head back forward. Keep the gaze forward. Slow, slow, slow with these neck movements. Inhale, look left. Keep the neck long. Chin over left shoulder. Exhale into center. Inhale, look right. Very slowly. Slowness is the key. Exhale, center. Inhale, look left. Exhale into center as we slowly guide the body back, walking the hands back. Make your way back into the tabletop. Now, if this has been a lot for the wrists, you can bring the fists to the mat as another option. Shift the hips from side to side. Let the head hang heavy. Notice the difference between the two side bodies. Everything guides back into center in your own time. Take the left foot behind the left wrist. Now, once we're here, again, blocks are very helpful under the hands, gaining you a little bit of height. This gives you more space. That's the point of using the blocks under the hands, is now you have more space to exist. If it feels good here, you can begin to lunge forward. If you wish, you can inch the left foot forward. Keep the hands below the shoulders as you press the hips forward. Untuck those back toes if that's where you're at. Breathing into that hip flexor. So this is stretching out the front of the right hip. There's a set of muscles called our hip flexors. One of the major ones is called our psoas. This connects a cluster of our lumbar spine, right, from our back, all the way around the front of our hip. So it attaches to the front of the hip and the front of the femur joint, right where it all attaches. So that's why when we lunge forward, we're stretching this long. So imagine there was almost a band then from the front of your center hip, like right in your groin, around to your lower back. This is why our pelvic tilt is so important. Come back to center with me. Finding a long spine, long neck. Exhale it all. Inhale, slowly turn the head right. Exhale, head to neutral. Inhale, slowly turn the head left, like you're moving one vertebrae at a time. Exhaling back to center. One more time on each side. Inhale, look right. Exhale, center. Inhale, look left. Exhale into center. Slowly return back to your tabletop, however you want to get there. Take your time. Again, if that was a lot for the wrist, take the fist to the mat instead. This switches the weight distribution on the wrist because your hands are fine. You got it. Rock the hips from side to side. As we bring the hands back to center in whatever capacity feels good, we're going to cross the right leg, the right knee. So we're going to step. Let me start over. Bringing the hands back into center, whatever capacity feels good, we're going to guide the left knee in line with the center of the body. So left knee right in the middle of the ribs, try to bring it up as far as feels good. As we step the right knee back into the left of the left foot. So we're going to inch that back, Bring it over to the back left corner of the mat as we slowly surrender back. Now here, we can find push-up motions, rocking back and forth. You can settle into stillness. You can bring blocks here. Surrender onto the forearms if it feels good. Helping to stretch out that glute. Again, rock from side to side if you prefer. One more breath here. You can inch that right leg longer if you want something spicier. And returning back to our tabletop. Bringing the right knee in line with the center body, all the way up by the glute or by the ribs. As we take that left knee on the right side of the right foot, beginning to slowly inch that left leg back as much as feels good. This is called a sleeping swan. Now, if it feels right to you, lean to the right, lean to the left. Do push-up style movements back and forth. Stay with your breath. So if you want to rock in any direction, inhale as you rock one way, exhale as you rock the other. Keep the movements mindful. Close the eyes. That's how you see how you really feel in this posture. Just do it till you feel it. Don't overthink it. On the bottom of that breath, returning back to neutral. As we walk the hands up towards the top of the mat, press the hips forward and down. Extend the legs long. If it's in your practice, keep the arms extended. Pull the shoulders down for the seal pose. If it works for you, take the legs out a little wider than you usually would. Take the legs out wider than before, getting both hip flexors. One more inhale. Take the gaze up to the sky. And on the exhale, slowly press it back to a child's pose. So knees are out wide, toes come to touch. Slowly guiding the tailbone back towards the heels, we surrender down to the mat. When you arrive, sigh it out. Now, if this is just feeling far away today, we can come onto the forearms, stack the fists, rest the third eye, really surrender the heart down to the mat. If that's still not quite enough support, we can take a rolled towel, pillow below the belly, underneath the torso. But when you are here, if the third eye is down on the mat, option to take one ear to the mat or the other, stretch out the neck and just breathe. Stay with your Ujjayi breath. Bring in 3 more of the slowest breaths you can find. Dropping the tension, releasing any expectations you had for yourself. Knowing that you've done enough, you are enough, and this is everything that you need. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Slowly lift the gaze, walk the hands back and up, come into a tabletop. Slow and steady, cat and cows. Inhale, cow. Press the belly down, look up. Exhale, cat. Pull the navel up and in, tuck that tailbone, chin to chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale. Finding a neutral spine, make our way up towards the top of our mat. Shift over onto the sit bones. Plant the feet flat in front of us. Hook the hands behind the knees. Inhale to lift the heart up to the sky. And exhale, slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. As the legs are long, pull the shoulder blades down the spine, rock the head from side to side, flop the feet from side to side. Notice what has changed. Notice what has awakened. As we come into our final Shavasana, you have a few options, truly. Option number one, to relieve a little bit more for that lower back. That lower back is feeling sticky. Those hips are tight. We woke up a lot of stuff. I recommend taking pillows, blankets, or blocks under your thighs as the legs stay long. So coming into this Shavasana, but bringing support directly underneath of the thighs, those hamstrings. It's not just to allow for a bend in the knee, but then to adjust our pelvic tilt in this relaxation. So this is option one, having support. That is what I recommend if you have your legs long. If you'd like something a little bit different, we can always rest in a Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet to touch. We butterfly the knees. In this case, bring blocks below the knees. On the outsides of the thighs, give yourself that support. The hands could be on the belly, cactus the arms. You could reach up overhead, whatever feels good. As you rest the eyes, relax the face. Let every inch of the body get a little heavier. Like a weighted blanket has been placed upon you. Give up all effort in the body. Not putting any effort into the breath, but finding full, heavy relaxation. So we share one more breath together. Just as if you sat down on a couch after a long day, I want you to inhale all the way to the top. Soft sigh, gentle. As you trust in this final resting pose to be the absorption of your practice, to seal in all the benefit as you do as little as possible. See how it feels to do nothing but exist. Gently begin to flood the lungs, finding small movements in the body. Wiggling the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles, windshield wiper the legs, whatever feels good as you eventually reach the arms up overhead like you just woke up. Rolling on to your right side in a supported fetal position. Our quote today, also from The Power of Now. Do not be concerned with the fruit of your action. Just give attention to the action itself. The fruit will come of its own accord. This is a very powerful spiritual practice. Giving yourself a few breaths to appreciate your practice today, all that you did, all the love and breath you offered to the body as you fill your heart with gratitude. Using the strength of your arms to press yourself up into a comfortable seat, let us share a single breath together, sealing our practice today. Rubbing the palms together, exchanging energy between the hands. Then bringing the hands into heart center, Anjane Mudra. Empty the lungs completely. Together we pull in a slow, deep, mindful inhale all the way to the top. Hold it at the top. A little bit more. Bring it in. One more sip. Then let it go. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. May your entire universe be filled with peace, joy, love, and light. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you very, very much. I hope your body feels good. I hope your mind feels well. I hope your lungs feel attended to. When you're in your day-to-day life, start noticing the change in the tilt of your pelvis. See how you can adjust. Notice what relieves things, what stretches things, and it's just all about paying attention. It's all about listening to when your body whispers so you don't have to hear it scream, right? Reminder to drink lots and lots of water, and I will see you next time. Thank you again. Mwah.